Chapter 13. Relax. It's just a little death prophecy. Sure enough, once Jack became a pendant again, I passed out for 12 hours. In the morning, I woke with sore arms and legs, feeling like I'd spent the whole night flapping through the air with an energy hanging from my ankle. Alex Fierro was conspicuously absent from breakfast, though TJ assured me he'd slipped a note under her door explaining where the lounge was for floor 19. She's probably still asleep, TJ said. She had a big first day. Unless she's that mosquito right there. Halfborn pointed to an insect crawling across the salt shaker. That you, Fierro? The mosquito said nothing. My friends promised to stay on high alert, ready to do whatever was needed to help stop Loki from holding his shotgun wedding in 5, now 4, days. We'll also keep an eye on Fierro, Mallory promised, scowling at the mosquito. I just had time to scarf down a bagel before Sam arrived and led me to the stables above the floor 422 exercise room. Whenever Sam said, "We're going to fly," I couldn't be sure what she meant. Valkyries were perfectly capable of flying on their own. They were strong enough to carry at least one other person, so maybe she intended to put me in a large tote bag and schlep me to Cape Cod. Or she might have meant fly, as in we're going to tumble off a cliff and plummet to our deaths. We seemed to spend a lot of time doing that. Today, she meant riding a flying horse. I wasn't clear on why Valkyries had flying horses, probably just because they looked cool. Besides, nobody wanted to ride into battle on a lindworm, flapping and bouncing around like a turkey snake cowboy. Sam saddled a white stallion. She climbed on its back and pulled me up behind her, and we galloped out of the gates of the stable straight into the skies above Boston. She was right about the cold. It didn't bother me, but the winds were strong, and Sam's hijab kept fluttering into my mouth. Since hijabs represented modesty and piety, I doubted Sam wanted hers to look like I'd been chewing on it. "How much further?" I asked. She glanced back. The bruise under her eye had faded, but she seemed distracted and exhausted. I wondered if she'd slept at all. "Not long now," she said. "Hang on." I'd flown with Sam enough times to take that warning seriously. I clenched my knees against the horse's rib cage and wrapped my hands around Sam's waist. As we plunged straight through the clouds, I may have screamed, "Minefurter!" My butt went weightless in the saddle. FYI, I do not like having a weightless butt. I wondered if Sam flew her airplane like this, and if so, how many flight instructors she'd sent into a cardiac arrest. We broke through the clouds. In front of us, Cape Cod stretched to the horizon, a parenthesis of green and gold in the blue sea. Directly below, the northern tip of the peninsula made a gentle curlicue around Provincetown Harbor. A few sailboats dotted the bay, but it was too early in the spring for many visitors. Sam leveled us off about 500 feet and flew us along the coast, racing over dunes and marshes, then following the arc of the commercial street with its gray shingled cottages and neon-painted gingerbread houses. The shops were mostly shut down, the streets empty. "Just scouting," Sam told me. "Make sure an army of giants isn't hiding behind the Mooncusser tattoo shop." Or sea trolls, or waits, or my father, or... yeah, I get the idea. Finally, she banked us left, headed for a gray stone tower that loomed on a hill at the edge of town. The granite structure rose about 250 feet and had a turreted top that resembled a fairy tale castle. I had a vague memory of seeing the tower during my visit here as a kid, but my mom had been more interested in hiking the dunes and walking the beaches. "What is that place?" I asked Sam. "Our destination." A faint smile tugged at her mouth. The first time I saw it, I thought it was a minaret for a mosque. It looks sort of like one. "But it's not?" She laughed. "No, it's a memorial for the Pilgrims. They landed here before they moved to Plymouth. Of course, Muslims have been in America for a long time, too. One of my friends, at mosque, she's an ancestor. Yusuf bin Ali, who served with George Washington during the American Revolution." She stopped herself. "Sorry, you didn't want a history lesson. Anyway, we're not here for the tower. We're here for what's underneath." I was afraid she wasn't talking about the gift shop. We flew around the monument, scanning the clearing at its base. Just outside the tower's entrance, sitting on the stone retaining wall and swinging their feet like they were bored, were my two favorite people from alien worlds. "Blitz!" I yelled. "Hearth!" Hearth was deaf, so yelling his name didn't do much good. But Blitzen nudged him and pointed us out. They both jumped off the ledge and waved enthusiastically as our horse came in for a landing. "Kid!" Blitzen jogged toward me. He could have been mistaken for the ghost of a tropical explorer. From the rim of his pith helmet, a screen of white gauze covered him down to his shoulders. The gauze, I knew, was custom designed to block sunlight, which turns dwarfs to stone. He also put on leather gloves to protect his hands. Otherwise, he was wearing the same outfit I'd seen in my dream. A walnut three-piece suit with a black bow tie, snappy pointed leather shoes, and a bright orange handkerchief for flair. Just the thing for a day excursion into a tomb of the undead. He tackled me with a hug, almost losing his pith helmet. His cologne smelled like rose petals. Hammers and anvils. I'm glad to see you. Hearthstone ran up next, smiling faintly and waving both palms in ASL gesture for yay. For Hearth, this was the equivalent of an ecstatic fanboy screaming. He wore his usual black leather jacket and jeans with his twister dot scarf wrapped around his neck. His face was as pale as ever, with the perpetually sad eyes and spiky platinum hair, but he had fleshed out a bit in the past few weeks. He looked healthier, at least by human standards. Maybe he'd been ordering a lot of pizza while they hid out of Mimer's safe house. You guys, I pulled Hearth into a hug. You look exactly like when I saw you in the bathroom. In retrospect, that was probably not the line to lead with. I backed up and explained what had been going on. The weird dreams, the weirder reality, Loki in my head in the pickle jar, Mimer's head in the bathtub, etc. Yeah, Blitzen said. The capo loves to show up in the bathtub. Almost scared me out of my chainmail pajamas one night. That's an image I did not need, I said. Also, we have to have a talk about communication. You guys just disappeared on me without a word. Hey, kid, it was his idea. He signed this for Hearth's benefit, Pinky touching his forehead and then pointing at Hearth with his two fingers. Idea. His, H, for Hearthstone's name sign. Hearthstone grunted in irritation. He signed back, To save you, dummy! Tell Magnus. He made an M for my name sign, a fist with 3 fingers wrapped over his thumb. Blitzen sighed. The elf is overreacting, as usual. He got me all terrified and hustled me out of town, but I've calmed down now. It's just a little death prophecy. Sam untangled her backpack from the horse's saddlebags. She patted the horse's muzzle and pointed toward the sky, and our white stallion Buddy took off for the clouds. Blitzen, she turned, you understand there's no such thing as a little death prophecy, right? I'm fine. Blitzen gave us a confident smile. Through the gauze netting, he looked like a slightly happier ghost. A few weeks ago, Hearthstone got back from one of his one-on-one rune magic classes with Odin. He was all excited to read my future, so he cast the runes and, well, they didn't come out so good. Not so good? Hearthstone stomped his foot. Blitzen, bloodshed, cannot be stopped. Before Ostara. Right, Blitzen said. That's what he read in the runes. But what's Ostara? I asked. The first day of spring, Sam said, which is in, 4 days. The same day as your supposed wedding? Believe me, she said sourly, it wasn't my idea. So Blitzen's supposed to die before then. My stomach started climbing up into my throat. Bloodshed cannot be stopped? Blitzen nodded empathetically. He shouldn't be here. I agree. I said it's too dangerous. Guys, Blitzen tried for a hearty chuckle. Look, Hearthstone is new at reading the future. Maybe he misinterpreted. Bloodshed might actually be toolshed. A toolshed that cannot be stopped. That would be a good omen. Hearthstone held out his hands as if to strangle the dwarf, which needed no translation. Besides, Blitz said, if there's a tomb here, it'll be underground. You need a dwarf. Hearth launched into a flurry of angry signs, but Cimero stepped in. Blitz is right, she said, signing the message with a hot potato fist bump, both index fingers extended. She'd gotten good at ASL since meeting Hearthstone, just, in her spare time between gathering souls, making honor roll, and flying jet planes. This is too important, she said. I wouldn't ask you otherwise. We have to find Thor's hammer before the 1st of spring, or entire worlds will be destroyed, or I'll have to marry a giant. Either way, Hearth signed, must be one. Don't even know hammer is here. Buddy, Blitz took the elf's hands, which was a kind of sweet, but it was also kind of rude, because it was the ASL equivalent of putting a gag on someone's mouth. I know you're worried, but I'll be fine. Blitz turned toward me. Besides, as much as I love this elf, I'm going crazy in that safe house. I'd rather die out here being useful to my friends than keep on watching TV and eating delivery pizza and waiting for Mimer's head to pop up in the bathtub. Hearthstone ignores it like you wouldn't believe. Oh, Hearthstone snores like you wouldn't believe. Hearth yanked his hands back. You're not signing, but I can read lips, remember? Hearth, Sam said, please. Sam and Hearth had a staring contest. So intense, I could feel ice crystals forming in the air. I'd never seen those two so much at odds before, and I did not want to be in the middle. I was tempted to summon Jack and have him sing a Beyoncé song just to give them a common enemy. At last, Hearthstone signed, if anything happens to him. I take responsibility, Sam mouthed. I can read lips too, Blitzen said. And I can take responsibility for myself. He rubbed his hands together eagerly. Now, let's find the entrance to this barrow, eh? It's been months since I unearthed a malicious undead power.